Hello, everybody. Welcome to Counselor's Couch 101. I'm Jim Stump. If you would like to communicate with us, you can leave a comment below or you can send us an email. You can send it to counselorscouch101 at mail.com. Just mail.com. Counselorscouch101 at mail.com. Got a story for you. A while back, good while back actually, this young man, 20, 21 years old, had a job working on a sales crew. He would go into this office. They had desks and telephones all over the place, and he would pick up a bunch of cards with names and phone numbers on them, and he'd pick up what they called the script. He was going to read this script. His job was to call these people up and try to sell them whatever the company was promoting at that time, right? Well, there's about 6 guys in this man's crew in this particular room, and over time, they grew to hate their employment. They positively couldn't stand it. And they were just waiting to get through the week, pick up their paycheck, and go out and enjoy their lives, right? Sound familiar to anybody? One day, they walked in the office and in the morning, and the 6 guys were there, and somebody just sort of muttered, "Only one more day till the weekend." And everybody laughed, right? And then it became a running gag. "Only one more day, guys, only one more day." And then it began only 2 more days to the weekend, right? You can see where this is going. On Wednesday, they're screaming, "Hump day, guys, 3 days, we get to the weekend," right? And then it was only 4 more days to the weekend. People are laughing. This is getting to be more hysterical as time goes on. One time, this young man I mentioned earlier walked in early on a Monday morning, and one of his co-workers was sitting at the desk, and the co-worker was hanging his head. He looked really sad, and he looked really, really depressed, right? And the guy says to him, "Hey, what's wrong? What's going on?" And the guy slowly lifted his head up, and he looked at him, and he said, "Only 40 more years." Dang. You know what that young man did that very day? Well, he was young and thought he was a master of the universe, thought he had to have no problem making his way in the world and like that. He walked straight up to the office and quit. I'm not going to spend my life 40 years hating everything I do, right? This is kind of a common story. I run into this a lot with folks who are not happy with their lives, not happy with their conditions, but they can't seem to make the step to change anything. This most often happens with what we used to call middle management, people who work in offices, they're in part of administration and like that. And oh, by the way, I like this. He's telling people about a book he read and he likes. I think that's a really cool part of the video. He who must not be named. Where was I? Oh, yes, I talked to people in middle management, people that are working in office jobs. All they used to be doing was pushing paper. These days, it's not even paper. It's stuff on a computer screen that evaporates, goes into the ethers, and nobody ever sees about or cares about again. And they feel like their lives are pointless and have no purpose, no meaning. So they end up in my office telling me they're depressed. Like the previous video, I say, "Oh, tell me something about your depression. What's it like? What are your symptoms? When did it start? Etc., etc." Well, finally, we figure out that the guy doesn't like his job. It's a boring job. He can't stand it. He doesn't like his supervisor. He doesn't like the drive into town. He doesn't like a whole lot of things about it. I say, well, it seems like the solution is obvious. Quit the job and go do something you like to do. And now here's the rub. Invariably, they say to me, if I quit, I could never get a job earning as much as I do now. And I certainly can't get any benefits like I get now, right? And they feel stuck. And I get it. You have to lose a lot. You have to step back a whole lot of paces in order to go forward again. Because where they are, they can't advance. There's no place to go. There's nothing to do. They're bored. They're unhappy. It's affecting their lives. It's affecting their families. And they just can't seem to get out of that stuck place. You know, another thing about that is back in the day, the same syndrome affects welfare recipients. I used to ask welfare people, I say, why are you on welfare? You're a smart person. You're a smart lady. Why don't you go out? Excuse me. It's still hot in California. Why don't you go out and get a job, and move on up in the world, take vacations, buy a house, et cetera, et cetera. And invariably, they all told me, these welfare recipients, they say, I can't make as much money in a job as I'm receiving from welfare. Also, if I had a job, I would have no health benefits. On welfare, everything is taken care of, and I can take my kids to the doctor. They are stuck. They really are. They can't see a way out of that dilemma and out of that hole, right? But they're unhappy. And those people, sometimes they can go into generations, because one generation will teach the next generation how to be on welfare. I've talked to folks who are fourth generation welfare, who never worked in their lives. Their parents and grandparents never worked. Oh, they may have done stuff on the side, illegal things to have money in their pocket, but they never had a so-called legitimate 9-to-5 job and like that. They just never did it. All right, they're stuck in it. I remember once I was interviewing a lady. She was looking for some services that our program was offering. And I happened to be sitting at my desk near a window, and I saw her pull up on the street. She had a really nice car. It was nicer than mine. She walked in. She had a hairdo. She had jewelry on. She had nice clothes. She was well-spoken. And she's going on and telling me about her situation, what she wanted from the program, et cetera, et cetera. And I told her, I said, she was single, by the way, no kids. And I told her, I said, this program was designed for single mothers with children, that doesn't seem to describe you. And she looked at me and she got very indignant and she said, I know what to say. She was working hard to keep herself in a position that she did not have to go to work, but she wasn't happy. You can imagine, right? And of course, that leads to this type of behaviors. They're trying to overcome the disappointment in life, the unhappiness with life. It leads to all sorts of problems. So people get stuck, only 40 more years, and they look at that, they get depressed, and oftentimes they start having physical ailments, right? Digestion problems, insomnia, they start arguing with their family at home. All sorts of things happen. And I get it. I completely understand. It's hard to take steps back financially and in social position, but oftentimes that's the only way to improve things. I identify it as a quality of life issue. You stop and you say, okay, this job is paying me so much money, it's giving me so many benefits, et cetera, et cetera. But what is the quality of my life? And am I enjoying it? Do I like what I'm doing? Do the bad things about my job, are they far outweighed by the good things, the paycheck and the benefits? You have to make that decision for yourself. And if we can't change our lives completely, maybe we can change aspects of it so that we can be happier while in a situation that doesn't please us 100%. Just things to think about. Quality of life. Are you happy with what you're doing, where you're going, and how you're likely to end up? Is it all working for you? Great. But if it's not, let's figure out ways that we can improve your life, and so that you'll be happier while you're doing something you don't like, or ways to change that situation entirely so you can move forward, be more productive in the community, be happier, and enjoy a lot more than you are now. Just something to think about. Quality of life. Counselor's Couch 101 at mail.com. Talk with you soon.